Why is déjà vu often seen as a glitch in the matrix or further evidence that we could be living in a simulation, in a simulated computer, a simulated world? Well, in the movie The Matrix, the main character Neo, they're walking into a building and he sees this cat, and it kind of stops and sort of shakes its tail and then carries on, and he just kind of smirks to himself and doesn't really think anything of it. And then as he starts walking again, something catches his eye and he turns around and sees the same cat doing exactly the same thing. So it's not just like it's another cat or it's the same cat doing something similar. It's literally, if you watch the sequence, you can see it on YouTube, you see the cat does exactly the same thing. And he just sort of says almost under his breath, "Oh, déjà vu." And then the other characters, there's Trinity and Morpheus, they suddenly stop and turn around and say, "What did you say?" And he said, "Oh, déjà vu," and he explains. And they said, "Oh, that can be either a glitch or it can be a sign that there's an error or something's been changed in the code." Now, we've all had it where something happens and you get that feeling that something has happened before. And the reason why this is important in the simulated universe's kind of theory is often programs, they're based on loops, so they're designed to run a certain piece of code and repeat a given number of times. And what can happen with computer programs is it can either kind of get stuck, or it'll just repeat the same thing, literally the same thing again, and sometimes multiple times. So I've had it where I've been playing a computer game and then it will play this sound clip, normally of a voice of the character, and then it will repeat it again. It will sort of jump and then it will repeat it again, and it might even do it multiple times. So this is why there's often parallels drawn with playing a computer game as to the world that we're living in, because of course if this is a simulated universe, this is very similar. We're a main character and we have non-player characters that are surrounding us. So I'm in the park now, and it's actually quite quiet today, probably because it's raining, but you can't really see that there are some other people walking about, but these could be non-player characters in this 3D world that I'm playing right now. And as a side note, if you treat your life like a game, it's amazing how many more things you can do, what you can achieve. You have less worries because you don't think this isn't really kind of real in the true sense of the word. But normally when we have déjà vu, we normally think, well, you will go to a place and you'll kind of feel like, well, maybe I've been here before, and that's why you're getting that sense of déjà vu. But the explanation for this is it may have literally happened seconds before, and it's registered by your subconscious. The subconscious, this is an explanation I've seen people say, more of a scientific one, and that is your subconscious can process things quicker than your conscience. So by the time your conscience catches up, it feels like it's done before, you've experienced it before, because your subconscious already processed it. So that is the sort of scientific reason. But again, going back to this computer theory, it could be that literally the same thing has just happened and then it's looping again. And that's why, although logically you're thinking, well, maybe it's just a place I've been before and I've forgotten about it, or maybe it's a place that's similar, but in reality what's happening is it's exactly the same thing that's repeating via a loop. And the reason why we often, again, draw parallels to this simulated universe being like a computer game is because the way that computers process what you're doing in a game is it's only processing what we're seeing right now. So as I turn around, we can see we've got this great big branch here. You could argue that branch of that tree does not exist until I turn around and it's visible and I'm observing it. And of course this brings us back to quantum physics and the double slit experiment and so on and so forth. But often an argument against why a simulated universe couldn't be possible is we just would never be able to have the processing power to simulate the entire universe or even an entire planet. But that's not really true, because you only need to process the stuff that you're seeing. And again, that's the same as a computer game. You will not be able to see what's behind you unless you turn around and observe it, and then it creates it. And it's the same old argument about a tree falling down. In a forest, if you're not there to observe it, would it make any sound? And I would say, well, it won't, because there's no point in processing something that no one's there to experience. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments. Have you experienced deja vu? Does it feel like it's just somewhere that you've been before, or do you believe that maybe it is something part of the simulation and it's just looping the program? Give me a like as well if you enjoyed this video and you got anything out of it, and do subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm always going to be putting out content very tightly focused on simulation universe and positive thinking, manifesting, and so on and so forth. So thanks for watching, take care, I'll speak to you soon.